signing up. You far out.
It seemed like most people just saw me as Pete. I wasn't even sure how I came up with the name. All I knew was that my name meant everything to me. And I wasn't sure why, but when I was Pete, it changed the rules. I never had to wear dresses.
Pete. This is based on a true story, and wow, I really loved this presentation with the animation, the pictures that turned into the animation in the beginning, and the animation throughout. I really liked the animation style and the music. Love the narration. Made me wonder if it's the person that it was really based on or if it was a voiceover artist. Great job there. I love the home video footage. I thought that was a nice touch. Just a lot of great visuals in this. Nice to see in general this subject matter and the way it was presented. I think will actually be understood maybe by more people, because I know it touched me in a way that made more sense than, you know, something I could kind of wrap my brain around as far as how this person felt. Born a female but felt more the male energy. Nice to see the parents' support and great sound throughout. I just thought, you know, the sound was really good. There were some key lines that stood out to me. Funny, this is paraphrased, of course. Funny thing about change is that not everyone is ready, but those who are unexpected heroes, which I thought was just unexpected heroes. I thought was a really cool way to describe that scenario. Pete is a name I gave myself. I thought that was interesting. And then the world just made more sense to me, and I made more sense, and I somehow made more sense in it. I think it's a really great way to describe. That's what I'm talking about as far as people being able to kind of understand it a little better. To me, that was a perfect way to describe the feeling that somebody has in this situation. Great music and editing. Just the whole thing was very well put together, and I really just think this is going to do great and is a really great expression of this subject matter. So I also really liked the line, "The world outside of my cul-de-sac wasn't ready for me to be Pete, but I didn't know how to be anything else."
Okay, this is my Pete commentary. So I think that, again, the use of animation, as always, does well to sort of take the narrative further than it can go. What it does is it sort of allows you to expound on certain ideas well enough, which is what is sort of done here. There are a lot of like nuances that sort of come about into these newer ideas, and again, the animation helps that, and it allows it to sort of take it to places where normally it wouldn't be able to be taken, and it elevates the narrative very well.
This was thoroughly delightful, really well done. I loved everything about this piece. The message is very important, especially nowadays. But I like that it takes it back to an era where I feel like most people think that the issue of gender and identity was never a concern back then, or it's a new age thing. I love that it takes it back to that place. And it does it in a really just a compelling way, both visually and through the storytelling. I really enjoyed the animation style. I thought it just worked really well here. And then the footage of that time then really just helped solidify it all. It just made it all gel really well, and I think it was just a really at least as a viewer, like a real feel good kind of film. Even though you can extrapolate from that the struggles, I'm sure, were much harder and deeper, and there was all kinds of pushback, and they do touch on that in the film. And I think it was just really thoughtfully constructed. It's a real tight 7 minutes, just beautiful. Loved it.
Pete, very interesting short. I really loved the animation. It was very well done, and I think it took quite some time for the filmmakers to get to the end of this film and having this fantastic animation completely done. I think at the same time the message is very important. Is just not about the sport. I think it's about all the people, all the young people that for the first time they start recognizing, noticing that their gender identity might be different from what their body is, from what their sex is, and I think this short really nailed how difficult it can be sometimes to try to reveal your real identity to other people that don't fully understand what's going on inside your mind. And I think it is a very educative short as well, and obviously the dramatic tone mixed with sport, it gave me a little bit of chills in a good way. It was really breathtaking in the end, and I loved how the filmmaker managed to keep the film short but on point, exciting, and at the same time educative. Congratulations.
Pete, I loved this. I loved how they told the story. I loved that it was mostly animated to, you know, kind of tell the story in like real time with like how young she was when she went through this. And then going from that to showing the real videos of the, you know, the dirt bikes and everything else, I thought was so great. And just the way that the story was able to be told. And you know, when you get to the end and you're at the baseball game and everything kind of blows up and you really think that you kind of know how the story is going to go, but then people end up surprising you, and you know, there are good, accepting, you know, people out there. And I thought that was just really beautiful. Like I said, I really liked the story. I loved how it was told. I loved the narration of it. I loved the animation. And I feel like stories like this need to be told more, because it'll just open up more people, and the more knowledge and the more light you can spread on something, the easier it is for everybody to accept.
For the film Pete, well, I love this story. The cartoon tells it so well with that 70s feel, and I love how it's simple. A little girl, Kathy, re-identifies herself and names herself Pete, and is a great athlete. And I like how they point out in the story that the children, the peers, were accepting of this child, and it was the parents, the ones who felt threatened, the ones that are insecure, who become intolerant and make it so difficult for these young people. I'm thankful that the parent of Pete was an advocate and a supporter. That just almost made me shout hooray. It's the kind of film I wish all young people could see, and old as well.